Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Achua. In this video, I want to talk about grown dark sultry fragrances in my collection that I will recommend to you. I am one person who wants to feel young most of the time by way of dressing. I like to appear younger, but when it comes to how I feel, I like to feel grown and sexy because I'm grown. I'm a 39-year-old woman, so I'm all about my femininity, my feminine energy. I want to exude that, confident, grown woman. I never want to appear juvenile. So when it comes to my fragrances, I also want to come across as more grown and sexy for the most part. Not that there's something wrong with being with those juvenile, everyday girly scents. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a time and a place for it. But for the most part, I want to express myself as a grown woman with my fragrances, with some dark, sultry, not too playful fragrances. So in this video, I have quite a number of fragrances that I feel are grown and sexy. I think I've featured so many fragrances in previous videos. I just want to let them rest for today. I'm not going to incorporate something like Empire Victor. No, not in today's video. Nothing like December Vanilla. No, not in today's video. They are grown and sexy, but I just want to also give, some limelight to some other fragrances in my collection that I believe are going to give you similar sultry, grown woman sexy vibes. And the first one I have here is one I have featured in a similar video not too long ago, and this is going to be from Lattafa Sehr by Lattafa. This is going to give you nothing juvenile. It is going to give you a lactonic ambre with a dry down, with a bit of a suede-like quality to it. It feels so polished, so grown. There's nothing juvenile about it. It's going to give you that sexy vavavoom vibes, with that lactonic come hither vibes. It doesn't feel juvenile, and that is one thing I like about some of these fragrances. They give me grown woman. They are quite complex, nothing frou-frou-la-la, nothing simple. They are quite complex, and out of that complexity comes in a way of you interpreting the fragrance, in a grown way. I like the way it makes me feel. It's like come hither, come hither, sexy, sultry, but not like in your face, like all over, the place. Look at me, sexy. And that is one of the reasons why I like Sehr by Lattafa. That lactonic, ambre, sweet, dark vanilla. The vanilla here feels so well done. It is a very thick, intense, deep, rich vanilla, for the most part, with that lactonic nuance, at the background, and a bit of a suede-like quality at the deepest dry down. This is so sultry and beautiful, and it gives me grown woman vibes. So highly recommend Sehr by Lattafa. The next one I'll put on this list is going to be one that I have hardly spoken about. I think I introduced this fragrance just once on this channel. It is a Ghanaian owned brand. I'm not sponsored, but I love this fragrance, Sporit of Timbuktu by McBancy. It's a fragrance house I am now sort of getting into, and this has blown me away. It is going to be your grown woman berries and vanilla, and some other florals. I'm not too sure the composition of this because it doesn't give a lot of details, but this smells so luxurious. It doesn't smell too complicated. It is quite on the simple side with the berries and the vanilla, but it comes across as very rich, dark, intense, even by the bottle, black and gold. I love me black and gold, and the fragrance by itself screams like feminine. It gives me a very positive feminine energy vibes. It doesn't come across as unisex, probably unisex, but not like masculine leaning to me at all. It is ultra feminine, sweet berries. It's all about the berries, the vanilla, and I think some florals, I think a bit of a patchouli hint or nuance across somewhere in the mix, but it's a very beautiful ultra feminine berries and then vanilla for the most part. It is super sexy. It gives me grown. It doesn't give me juvenile. Berries can sometimes come across as a bit juvenile, berries, fruity, but this one has some oomph about it. Very sultry, dark. It doesn't give me mysterious, but it gives me fun and flirty in a very matured, grown, sexy way. So Spirit of Timbuktu by McBancy. I will try and link it in the description. If you're in Ghana, I think it will be easier to find, but I think if you're even outside Ghana, I'll find the links and then let you have them. Experience it for yourself. McBancy's Spirit of Timbuktu, a phenomenal job done by this Ghanaian niche house. So I'll highly recommend. The next one here is one that I have spoken about quite a number of times on this channel. It is nothing new here, and it's going to give you a Middle Eastern princess vibes, but not like juvenile. When you talk about Middle Eastern princesses, you're talking about that bold, out there woman. Like, it's about a woman, not a girl, a woman. And that is what I aspire to be known as, that sultry, vavavoom woman, That is what eventually I want to grow into this woman, so I'm going to talk about Resala from Arabian Oud. There is nothing juvenile about this at all. It is quite on the oriental style, rose oud, but it doesn't have oud, although it gives you an oudi sort of vibe, but the fragrance by itself doesn't have any oud. I think it has rose, saffron, and this one in particular has some chocolate in it, but it gives you that rich oud bouquet vibes, but that chocolate nuance in it takes it to a different notch, a very beautiful Middle Eastern princess, vibes. That is all I can say. It is a head turner. It is one of those fragrances that as soon as you walk into any place, your presence is going to be felt. Someone is going to at least smell you, compliment you, it's not going to fail to give you compliments. It can be a little overwhelming, so you need to know how to tone down the number of sprays you do. But this is a phenomenal, sexy, grown woman vibes. It doesn't give me girly, it doesn't give me little girl, it gives me grown, rich, dark. There is something dark and intense about this that is not for little girls. A lot of people might be a little underwhelmed or overwhelmed, that is the word. A lot of people might be a little overwhelmed by Resala because of the potency, the richness, that darkness, that chocolatey, sexy vibe it has. But to me, it is nothing overwhelming at all. I wear this, I get compliments, so I'll highly recommend this Resala from Arabian Oud. I love this, I really do love this one. And the next one is not going to be a full bottle. I don't have a full bottle. I'm hoping when I'm done with my Alexandra II by Zejov, or when I'm almost done, I might most likely get a full bottle of my perfume Arabiyat Portrait Oud. I have a decant here, and it's one of the best dupes, or inspired by Alexandra II fragrances I have come across. A lot of fragrances have been compared to that. Nothing comes close, but Portrait Oud from my perfumes Arabiyat. It is going to give you about 80% or 85% similar to Alexandra II by Zejov, I think this is the only Middle Eastern Alexandra II by Zejov inspired by fragrance I have come across. I got to know this through Kiki of my fragrance trail, and I've loved this fragrance ever since. It is more of an effervescent version of the, that rosewood, intense, woody, powdery, palisandre rosewood version of Alexandra II. This one is more of an effervescent, there's a sparkling sort of, champagne-like quality to this, that is not in the OG. Nonetheless, a very beautiful interpretation. I love this. It gives me grown, like full-blown woman, nothing girly, that fragrance Alexandra II is nothing juvenile at all. It's like very polished, very well put together unisex fragrance. I love it on men, I love it on women. I rock that fragrance and I get compliments. I feel myself anytime I wear that fragrance. It's one of my best, and I'll highly recommend this inspired by version Portrait Oud from Arabiyat, Prestige House. A phenomenal, interpretation. I love this so much. Another one that I'll also highly recommend, that I don't have a full bottle yet, but I feel it is super ultra sexy grown woman, is going to be Naqueen, also from, I think Naqueen is from Arabiyat, yes, the same house, Arabiyat Prestige House, and Naqueen has been likened to this very famous fragrance. I think I've forgotten the name, but I'll put it in the screen here. And this is like a good one. This is a very good one with the an amber suede vanilla. It's all about the amber, the suede, and the vanilla, here. That is what you are getting. And it's a very dark, incensey, spicy vanilla with that amber tone to it. It is very sweet, heavy, heavy on the incense, heavy on the vanilla, heavy on that amber resonance touch, sweet, suede-like. It is very beautiful and very unique. It gives me very polished, very grown, matured vibes. A lot of people might be turned off by this, especially the younger crowd, because it might not really speak to them. It's not it is quite mass appealing, but there is some oomph and intensity about this that you need a grown, matured sort of mind to interpret it so much better. And I highly recommend this Naqueen. I have a decant of this, I have a decant of with a cat, and I think another one too. So I just feel like I have like 30 ml of the same thing. So I want to quickly, or not quickly, I'm not in a hurry to utilize anything. I just want to utilize them before I get a full bottle. So I have Naqueen, I have with a cat, I have Mahajan Gold, yes, by Lattafa, and they all give me very similar nuance, so highly recommend this. The next ultra sexy grown woman sultry fragrance I have here is going to be Alien from Mugler. It is not Middle Eastern, I even have a Middle Eastern interpretation of Alien known as Adine. I have that, but I'm talking about the OG Alien here. This has been known to be a very powerful, indolic, bewitching jasmine scent. For the most part, that is what we've known Alien to be. It's been known to be this ultra seductive temptress fragrance. Alien, if you don't know about Alien, where have you been? It's an oldie but a goodie. And in this scenario, I have the OG Alien here. I also have the Alien Hypersense, which is like more of a candied jasmine, very similar to the original Alien, but more of a candied jasmine feel, like something much more sweeter to it. And then I also have the EDT, Alien EDT here. This I've had for quite some time, and the dent here tells no lie. Alien has always been that girl. Alien has always been, will always be. And it's one of those fragrances that you need to be in a certain mood that you're going to be that temptress, that temptress. That is the intention. You need to be intentional about your Alien wear, because it's going to have an effect, a very positive effect, especially on a date night. If you are looking to introducing yourself to someone in a very seductive, ultra sexy, feminine, grown, bewitching, matured way, it is going to be Alien. And my Alien of choice for the most part is the EDP, the Hypersense, and then the EDT. A lot of the Aliens are very similar, so you can get any of them, and they are all going to give you a very similar, vibe. Bewitching, seductress, grown woman, sexy. So that is Alien for you. The next group that I have is not going to be a group, but the next fragrance here, it's one that I have spoken about severally on this channel. It looks like a lot of people have issues with this particular fragrance. It's been likened to Rosendo Mato number 5. People talk about that, bench rubber nuance. It has, but I got that from the beginning, but no, I think it's even part of what makes this fragrance what it is, making it unique. Ishq Gold, by Lattafa, and no doubt, one of the best dark, gothic, sultry, grown woman sexy fragrances. I know a lot of people sort of, have a love-hate relationship with this, but I do not have any hate relationship. It's all about love, like 100% love. There's no point I have wore this fragrance that it did something negative to me. You know, it's always been positive. The attention I get from this, the compliments I get in this, it gives me a very matured vibes. It is quite complex. It is not your everyday generic one, you know, and that is what I love about all these fragrances. None of them is like simple, fufu lala, as people will say. These are all grown, rich, dark, intense, you know, matured woman vibes only, you know, and that is why I love all these fragrances. So Ishq Gold from Lattafa, a 10 out of 10. I'll continue to rock this, you know, just give it a try. If you think you had issues with this, you know, in the past, you know, you never know how some of these fragrances mature and or macerate, you know, and turn into. This has always been good to me. It's still, you know, going strong, and I'll highly always recommend this. I'll always have this in my collection. And I think the last one I have here, not the last one, but the last but one, it's a fragrance I see lots and lots of people, you know, having sort of a mixed sort of reaction about it. You know, people say it doesn't smell like guidance. People say it is not a good interpretation. I get where they're coming from, because this Bayn Asrar is like a lighter, watered down, aquatic sort of feel to it. And I think some few days ago at Heathrow Airport, I was able to test guidance 20, is it 26 or 46, you know, both the original and the latest flanker. And what stood out to me was the fact that it's the guidance flanker, the new flanker, I think guidance 46, you know, immediately reminded me of this, you know. Although I have likened this to the OG guidance in the past, I had not smelt the newer flanker, but when I smelt the newer flanker, it gave me this, you know, it feels like this one smells more to the flanker than the OG. You know, the OG is much more intense, much more potent. The OG gives me a very gothic vibe. There's a gothic vibe about the OG, you know, guidance, but this is less gothic, nonetheless very beautiful, dark, sultry rose, hazelnut, you know, sandalwood, creamy vibes. It is a good one, you know, to me, you know, even if it's even consider it as not a consider it as a standalone fragrance, you know, a standalone release from Paris Corner. And that is when you begin to appreciate this fragrance the more. It's a very beautiful, grown, nothing juvenile, you know, rose, hazelnut, sandalwood, you know, so many other amazing notes to it, you know, a plethora of notes. And I love this. It gives me grown woman vibes, you know, although it is rose, and rose can come across as a bit juvenile sometimes, but there's nothing juvenile about this. This one is a bit more of a dark, sultry, you know, creamy, sandalwoody, hazelnut, rose, and, you know, other pear. I think it has some pear, you know, juicy, light pear sort of, you know, vibe to it. So I would highly recommend Bayn Asrar. And the last one in this that I consider grown sexy, a bit of an old school vibe, you know, even a bit gothic, slightly gothic to me, is going to be Khadlaj's Prestige Royale, their interpretation of Hibiscus Mahajat. This is beautiful. I had a decant of it, you know. I think I'm almost done with the decant, and I decided to pick the full bottle, and this is phenomenal, you know. It's going to give you a bit of a jammy rose. It's also a rose scent, you know, a jammy rose. I think it doesn't have the notes of hibiscus, but the OG has the notes of hibiscus. This one has the jammy rose, I think some leather, some woods, some other florals. It is a very beautiful, it gives me this sort of, you know, lipsticky, old school vibes, grown, matured. There's something a bit vintage about it, you know. It gives me a form of that boudoir sort of look, you know, that sort of old school boudoir burlesque sort of feel, you know. That is what this one gives me, because of that jammy rose, the leather, you know. I can really get the leather in this one. I can also get that some florals, you know, although it doesn't state the notes of hibiscus by itself, you know. It is a very sexy one. I don't see a lot of younger crowd, you know, gravitating towards this, you know, because it doesn't smell young and flirty, you know. It's more of a sultry, sexy, come hither, grown woman, you know, sexy vibe. So that is going to be Le Prestige Royale. And I think the last one here, this is not the last one. The last one that I prepared for this, I also don't have a full bottle of it, a decant. And I'm done with this, I'm done with this because it is amazing. It's from Khadlaj also, Karus Amber Gold. Karus Amber Gold. And this has been likened to LV Matière Noir, LV Matière Noir. I could add this. I could also add the Khadlaj Lafade Noir Law, that is a newer release, but I don't know why Khadlaj would do this. Khadlaj is now beginning to get repetitive because this one apparently is inspired by LV Matière Noir as well as the Lafade Noir Law, so both fragrances can go with any of them because they smell the same. I have a decant of this. I also have a decant of the Lafade Noir, and when I compare, they smell very identical. And this I love so much. It is like full bottle worthy to me. This is the Karus one, Karus Amber Gold. Very beautiful rose oud, it's a rose oud combo, and it also has, I think, some black currant, and it gives me a bit of a Coca-Cola vibes, there's a hint of a Coca-Cola vibe somewhere, that I get and I love. So these are fragrances I consider grown, dark, sexy. Nothing girly, frou-frou la, as people will say. Nothing like that at all about these fragrances. I love them. And if you sort of, gravitate towards my kind of fragrances, I think any of these fragrances are going to be an easy reach for you when you are ready for your date night or when you want to feel sexy, grown woman. That is a vibe I usually want to go for. So for my grown, sexy woman, these fragrances I will highly recommend, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.